I was training to be a coach, and I joined a program to sort of sort out my niche and start advertising myself as a coach. And I felt completely overwhelmed and out of my depth. I really didn't think I was good enough. I was surrounded by a lot of more experienced coaches, and it sort of made me question whether I was even qualified enough to be a coach. So I'd invested a lot of money in this program, and I thought the only way I can sort this out is with some help. So I sought help from a coach who I found relatable and that I felt could actually help me sort out what was going on with me. I'd kind of decided on a path, but I was wondering whether it was more about me wanting to sort out my own issues, and I was selecting that as my niche rather than actually sorting out my niche. So, I had personal things around weight management and big hang-ups on issues around food myself. I'd grown up in a perfectionist environment with my dad, so I knew where the I'm not good enough demon came from. So I had stuff I needed to let go of to enable me to move forward. It got me to sort of really think about what was important to me, what the issues were, and how I wanted to approach dealing with them. And it sort of enabled me to understand that I had already been coaching people successfully, that the people I was working with while I was training had all had positive outcomes. So I was already coaching, even though I didn't believe I was good enough. I was clearly already good enough. And it sort of enabled me to deal with some issues in my personal life. So I decided what my boundaries were and what I was going to tolerate from other people and how I interacted with other people. So I sort of understood better what I wanted rather than being the person there to do everything for everybody else. I actually started to put myself back in the picture. So the major one, which I didn't realise at all until we did the timeline therapy, was that I had a personal trauma over 25 years ago that wasn't even on my radar, that when we did the timeline therapy and dealt with the issue of sadness, that I went back to that time and there was so much being held there. That was a huge release, and I think a big part of why I hadn't been able to move forward.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult to describe it, but I feel more me again.
Okay, good.
So I'm communicating better with people. I'm expressing myself in a better way, and rather than sort of thinking back on all the difficult situations I've dealt with over the years and thinking, that they were not good situations, I'm now able to look back and think, I learned a lot from those situations, and that helps me now going forward. So when I'm faced with a difficult situation now, I can approach it in a much different way. It's more of a considered response rather than an emotional response. It's not saying that I don't deal with my emotions, but I deal with them a lot quicker. I can put them into check a lot quicker. I'm far more aware of what's going on and how I need to respond for the best outcome for me. So I've got more urgency now about getting my business moving forwards. I've been chief procrastinator for the last 3 years, have been, no longer. I work part-time in a paid job. I teach fitness classes part-time, and studying to be a coach and being a grandmother. So I've managed my time more efficiently now, rather than getting into overwhelm and not moving forward. Because it's like if you're standing juggling plates on sticks. So all of the things I do are these plates on sticks. And I was just constantly juggling them, standing there, spinning these plates. Because if I stepped away, one was going to fall and smash. So instead I've taken those plates down and prioritised them. So for an example, on a Wednesday, I pick the grandchildren up from school. That's day a day. I'm fully present with them as a grandmother. On a day where I'm studying, I will fully immerse myself in completing a task. So I will go into it. I am going to complete this section and get it emailed today, and I do it. So I'm actually believing now what I say, because I'm doing what I said I was going to do when I said I was going to do it.
Wow.
So I've had meetings with people about more opportunities. I've been invited to speak at an event, and I've just generally got, I think, better relationships with people now, because I'm coming into a meeting as their equal. Instead of not feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm saying, this is what I bring to the table. Do you want some? Before I started the coaching, I felt like time was running out, because I celebrated a big birthday in January. I turned 50. And a lot of people look to take early retirement in their 50s. And I'm just starting out with my business. So I was like, time's running out. How can I be one of these big successful people, especially if success is measured in pounds and pence? It's like, you know, whereas now I'm thinking, I can build this in the next 5 years, then I can bring people in and oversee things. So I don't have to be working until I'm 103. But I still can get this done. Now is exactly the right time. I've got 50 years of experience I bring to the table. So all of the things that I've been through and dealt with, yeah, I might have got a little bit stuck before we worked together. But over those months now, that's probably saved me years. Because no doubt I would have procrastinated for even longer. You know, I've submitted my coursework for my diploma, and it's been accepted as good enough. More than good enough. But, you know, what I was doing is correct. I've showed a good understanding of coaching tools and techniques, etc., etc. So now I've just got to finish working with my volunteer coachees, and then I'm good to go. And I'm already now researching and looking at what I want to offer as a coach. And to give another analogy, I guess at the beginning of the coaching, it was like jigsaw pieces in a box. During the coaching, those pieces started to turn over, and now they're all turned over, and I've just got to bring it together into the picture.
Nice.
There's a breath here, because it's like I've got so much that's going to happen in the next 6 months, putting everything in place, and then I'm just looking forward to every day enjoying what I do. And that's the way I can describe. I'm not going to say, oh, I'm excited and stuff like that. It's like I can now see how I can, rather than doing a job to get paid and pay bills, I know that in 5 years' time, this is huge, in 5 years' time, we will be completely debt-free, including our mortgage. I will have the freedom to choose where and when and with whom I work. And maybe I won't even want to retire, because I'll be loving it so much.
Wow.
I generally get a feeling about people. And I didn't know Joe prior to getting into this program where we were looking at our niche and things. And it's sort of a couple of posts in there and Jo's sharing her own personal story. I thought, this is a person I can relate to. We had one initial chat and I felt completely comfortable. Now for me, if it doesn't feel right, I won't do it. So I felt that we were a good fit for each other. I felt that there was trust, no judgment, because there were really personal things that I wanted to discuss with a coach. So trust was a huge thing for me. I had to feel safe and that whatever we discussed was just between us. And I felt that, and that's why I wanted to work with Jo.
Amazing.
I don't think I should have got coaching any sooner, because I really believe that things happen at a time when they're meant to happen, and it was just right for me. But if you're feeling like overwhelmed, stuck, you just don't know what your next move is, even if you just phone up for an initial chat, sometimes even just saying something out loud helps you sort it out in your mind. Even though I was training to be a coach, I recognized I needed a coach. Every coach needs a coach. It's someone that you can sort of just help. They can help you unravel and decide what's right for you. So, that moment in time was the perfect time for me, because I tried for 2 years to do it on my own, and I'm looking forward to working with Jo some more, because now as a coach, I can bounce business ideas with her, and I can look forward to, continuing our relationship as a mentor rather than a coach. But if I come across any issues in the future, I know I can always go back and we can work through it. You don't have to struggle on your own.